This is your Tuesday live lesson from Digital DJ Tips, the world's leading DJ school. Now, we're talking about something which, just like the Mac versus PC debate, always gets people riled. And it's a bit strange, really, because it is what it is. Today, we're talking about the industry standard in DJing and why the industry standard, like it or not, is AlphaTheta or Pioneer DJ. Two names for the same brand. That's another story. And the reason we're talking about it is that we get asked about it a lot by our students. We teach a lot of people here at Digital DJ Tips who are starting in DJing, and they want to know whether they go with this brand or whether they go with one of the other brands out there that sell DJ gear and that make DJ software and so on. So as a school, we believe that we ought to be talking about this. We talk about it to our students, but we thought today we'd talk about it to the wider world. Now, full disclosure, this is not a sponsored video. Yes, I know on the internet it's extremely strange and unusual and every channel is shilling for someone, but we are not that channel. Every penny we have is from you guys, is from our students, it's from the people who buy our courses. We have no advertising, no affiliate deals, no partnerships, and no one is greasing our palms to say anything at all. Indeed, when they try to get us to say stuff about them, I get quite uppity, as I'm sure people in the industry who have been on the end of that can attest to. Digital DJ Tips is independent. That means you are the people we care about. So we'll talk now from our unbiased and open point of view. And at the end of this live show, we're going to talk to you. So if you're watching the recording, do hang around. It's going to be fun as always, especially with a topic like this. I've got all the live comments coming in here as we speak. Okay, so I want to start off by showing you a few images. Now, at Digital DJ Tips, every year we do something called the Global DJ Census. And the Global DJ Census is when we ask our community, which is tens of thousands of DJs, to tell us so much about themselves that if it was anyone else, you'd think it was a data gathering exercise and that we were going to go and sell it, but we don't. And people give generously, and it's only for the use of the DJ world, really. So we do this thing every year. We've done it for a decade now. And every year we ask the same questions so we can compare year on year what's happening. And the questions I want to bring you to in our Global DJ Census, in the latest version that we published and shared, you can find it on digitaldjtips.com, is the stuff about DJ hardware and software. So we're going to start off with this image here. What's the main brand of DJ hardware you own? 15,000 of our students and subscribers answered that question, and this is what they said. At the top there with nearly 60% is Pioneer DJ stroke AlphaTheta. And then all the other brands are down at the bottom. Add every single other brand up that exists, and they won't come to the same as the number of people who own Pioneer DJ, or now AlphaTheta hardware, right? Let's keep looking. Which brand, we ask, because we want to know about people's aspirations, do you most want to upgrade to? In other words, what's your next DJ purchase going to be? Again, more than half Pioneer DJ. That means if you add everyone else up, they won't even come to that amount. And indeed, one of the options, the fourth option down, is sticking with my brand. So you can assume more than half of those people, again, are for Pioneer DJ. So dominating in that category as well. Let's look at the next one. What software do you use to DJ? Software is what you prepare your music on. And if you're a controller DJ, it is what you use on your laptop when you're actually DJing. So here it's a bit closer. Rekordbox, which is Pioneer DJ, AlphaTheta's software, is just about number one. Serato, which those of you that follow this industry will know Pioneer DJ wanted to buy. Well, maybe you can see why now, because if they had managed to buy it, it would have given them the usual 60% of the market, but they didn't manage that. And then the others down below. So they're dominating in software as well, but it's certainly a lot closer in the software world. In the venues that you play in, what DJ gear is provided for you to use? So it's a half and half between CDJs and a DJ mixer, in other words, Pioneer DJ, and none. I have to bring my own gear. So this is bars, lounges, places that don't install gear, and of course mobile DJs as well. And then much, much, much lower down are the other options that you might find in a club. So again, if you find gear, it's likely to be Pioneer DJ or AlphaTheta, if the venue provides it. So look, we don't make this stuff up. And the final stats, because of course where this brand really dominates is in the really high end, the final stat I've got for you is, if money were no object, which of these top end club systems would be your first choice? Pioneer DJ, of course, is going to be out top because it is the top end club system that most clubs install and use, and therefore that most hobby DJs who are dreaming about what they might own one day, of course, are going to want, right? So look, as I say, we don't make this stuff up. This is not us pushing a brand because we happen to like them or anything like that. It's just the truth. It's more than that as well. So this is going to get anecdotal because it's not a question we ask in our census. Whenever I go out, and you tell me about where you live, whenever I go out, and confirm this with our team here at Digital DJ Tips, you know, you go to a bar, you go to a lounge, you go to a club or pub where you can kind of look over at what they're playing, the smaller venues, the DJs who may be hobbyists, who may be just being paid $50 or $100 to play, they're all using basically an XDJ RX3, which is a standalone, relatively cheap as far as this kind of gear goes, mid-range Pioneer DJ controller. This brand dominates. So we need to talk about what industry standard actually means. And so I want you to think about Microsoft Office, or if you're someone who's a visual person, maybe a graphic designer, or you know that world, Adobe Photoshop. These are not necessarily the best at what they do, but they are the industry standard. It's not what is the best, it's what the industry uses. If you roll up at a creative agency as a new employee, you will expect that you will be using Photoshop or Illustrator. You'll expect to be using the Adobe apps. If you work in any office, you expect your files to be Microsoft Doc files or Excel files, and you expect to be using Office 365 or whatever they call it nowadays to work with those. Now, look, this is coming from someone who really does not like these things. I'm not a fan of, for instance, Microsoft Office. I don't like it. But at the university that I go to in my evenings part-time to study away from this part of my life, they expect you to write your essays and to present them to them as docx files. And they even give you access to Office 365. And that is actually a great place to move on in what I want to say, because there's no coincidence that that is the case. Microsoft tried very, 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 very hard back in the days when there were wars going on about which format was going to dominate to make sure they dominated. And AlphaTheta, or Pioneer DJ as they were known until very recently, did exactly the same thing. I was a DJ all the way through this period, I know. So you had two Technics turntables and a mixer in the DJ booth when I started out. The mixer could be made by anyone actually, but their Technics were dominating in the turntable world. As soon as it flipped to digital, brands like Denon were making turntables. Technics tried to make a digital turntable that used CDs, but Pioneer DJ did as well, and their one dominated. Ever since the CDJ 1000 onwards, they have been the brand in the DJ booth that you would expect. And now, of course, we have this one here, the CDJ 3000X, the latest incarnation. But basically, they look and feel the same as the ones way back then. And they tried very, very hard to dominate, and they managed it. So then you got the everywhere factor, the same setup, two of these and a mixer everywhere from New York to Berlin to Chicago to Tokyo, whatever. The network effect. In other words, I don't like Facebook any more than you do, but guess what? That's where my friends are. And so if I want to chat on a messenger service, I've got to use WhatsApp because that's where my friends are. Do I like it? Doesn't matter whether I like it or not. It's the network effect. It's the everywhere effect. That's why when we talk about industry standards here at Digital DJ Tips and we advise our students, and people get very angry with us and say, you're shills, you've been paid to say this stuff. We haven't, we don't. But the fact is that that's how it is. Now, I'd be very flattered to think anything I can say would change that, but it wouldn't. I didn't make it that way and I can't change it from being that way. But as a DJ school, we have to meet the industry where it is. And if we've got more than half of our students using a particular brand or type of gear, we will talk about it more than half of the time. And we will scale down to the other brands accordingly. You know, there's some fantastic equipment out there from other brands. Some wonderful gear that we review. We have courses. We have software courses that cover brands that aren't this brand. We have full tutorials for brands that are not this brand. Rain and Newmark and Den and DJ and Reloop and all the other fantastic names. But they're not dominating, and I can't change that, right? So I want to talk about one of the things that continues to reinforce this. This is the only brand where if you go and buy something really cheap like this, and then you one day want to move up to use an expensive setup like this, you can buy probably 50 of these for the price of one of these. You're using the same brand across the whole thing. Same software, record box to prepare your music or play from. Even the buttons are put in roughly the same place on all this gear. They have that thread going through everything they do that no other company can match. And that's true to this day. Now, I've had conversations with some of the other companies saying, for Lord's sake, make your this do that so you can compete with this. And they're like, maybe we'll do that one day. But the truth is, if you're not competing on the same playing field, if you haven't got the software you can use on this and this, or your version of this and this, etc., then you're going to be really struggling to break that network effect. You're going to be struggling because someone else has got the bedroom to booth journey nailed. Again, this is not something that I particularly love or hate. I'm ambivalent about it. I just have to meet it as a teacher in the middle where it is. I'm no person who shouts from the rooftops about how brilliant this stuff is. It isn't. There's big problems at times. Even this week, there's problems with people trying to use the previous version of this player, the CDJ 3000, when they've prepared their music on an older version of the software. Doesn't work. It's caused issues for DJs, right? So look, we report this stuff. We share. You can go and find the latest news story on Digital DJ Tips where I shared that exact piece. You know, so it's not like we're here to shout from the rooftops about how great this stuff is. But at the end of the day, you know, brands dominate for a reason. And whether that reason is justified every day that brand is being used, not up to me to make that call. All I do is cover it how it is. And if a brand falls from grace and everyone starts using someone else, guess what? We're going to start covering someone else. We are totally unbiased in that respect. And so should you be. So the reason I say so should you be is that really whether that matters to you depends on your needs. So if you are someone who knows you're going to want to play in a club or multiple clubs, you're going to want to do what some of our tutors do, James Hype, Ferry Corsten, so-and-so, all these big names who turn up with just their headphones and their USB drive, right? If that's you, if that's what you aspire to, you better damn well use this brand, AlphaTheta Pioneer DJ, because that's what you will find in the Pro DJ booth. Sorry, I didn't make the rules. If you are one of the majority of DJs for whom that doesn't apply, certainly in our community, you're a mobile DJ, you're a home DJ, a hobby DJ, then you have a choice. Of course, you can go with this brand, the dominant brand. But if you're never going to be playing in the clubs, you don't have to. Even if you are going to be playing in the clubs, for instance, Jazzy Jeff, our tutor, he uses Serato and doesn't use this brand. Laid Back Luke, who is an outlier, I have to say, but we do love him, another one of our tutors. He uses Reloop gear and he doesn't even use a laptop. He uses his phone to DJ on with Algorithms DJ software. You don't have to toe the line, but it will make your life easier if you do. And there's lots of people in our community who will have one system at home and another system in the club. We don't advise people to do that because as beginners, Lord knows you've got enough going on without having to worry about using more than one DJ system. But there are people who do. So look, this brand does dominate. And I can't change that. I'm certainly not going to shy away from that fact when I'm advising DJs what to do. It's the standard because that's what's there. To change that would require every single DJ in the world to wake up tomorrow and start doing something else. And that is unlikely to happen. So for the foreseeable future, like it or hate it, Pioneer DJ AlphaTheta is the industry standard. And that's just how it is. Now, as I said at the beginning, this is like Mac versus PC. This is never going to be settled, and whenever we mention it, the comments go mental. So I'm going to spend the final 10 minutes pulling the laptop in here and just seeing what you guys and girls have got to say. Share your feedback, share your thoughts, share what you think about this. And we'll just chat now with you on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch about this exact topic. So hello everyone and welcome. Hello to say hello to a few of our regulars, to Kesha and Jez and Donston and Jonathan and Kevin and Mike and Mixmaster G. Thank you for your help with the article I wrote today. Mixmaster G. Hello to Paul, Party Tech and Cal Brown in Macclesfield, in sunny Macclesfield. Fantastic Cal Brown. Our community manager Ben is in Macclesfield. Say hello to him if you see him out DJing in the bars and clubs that way. Hello to Lou, who says hello to the rest of the crew. Wow, the census already. No, it's last year's census. We're not there yet for the census this year. It was last year's that I was sharing. So Dynamics UKG says, amazing how Alan and Heath is at the bottom of that graphic you showed, yet they sound amazing and the build quality is on point. It is what it is, isn't it? So I just added Rain to my roster, says the Ruckus, a Rain 1 Mark II. We have our video training tutorial for that coming out soon, so look out for that, the Ruckus. Right, what else are we saying about this? If you're a mobile DJ doing events, says Donston on YouTube, then yes, you use what you want. But if you're a club DJ, then it's Pioneer DJ. Yes, exactly. That's what we were saying earlier as well. Hello to Tim, who says, you're the best. Thank you, Tim. And that's to the team as well, not just to me, team. Okay, what else have we got? I don't get out that much, says Easy DJ, but it's always Pioneer at the drum and bass nights and clubs as far as I can tell. Okay, I doubt more people are using Office instead of Google Docs, says Luis. That could be true nowadays, of course. Industry standard is a useless term. Well, you lost me at that point. Of course it isn't a useless term. If Google Docs is going to become the new industry standard, the way people share files, then Microsoft has got something on its hands. Just like if Den and DJ or Engine DJ are going to become the thing that threatens the dominance of this, then these people have got something on their hands. But if you want to learn an industry, if you want to become a graphic designer, if that's your career, you better damn well learn Photoshop. So industry standard is useless. Rubbish. Right, so we've got DJ Miyagi, who makes that point, says, I've been in IT for 21 years and standards do change, but they change over time. Exactly, they do. The change from Technics turntables to Pioneer DJ CDJs, that was a change that slowly changed over time. No one ever thought we would stop using turntables. But the technology changed, and that's what left Technics behind, just like the technology changed into the cloud, and maybe that's what's leaving Microsoft behind with Google Drive and Google Docs and so on. If you discounted the technical issues, says the Ruckus, the Den & DJ SC6000s were better than CDJs, but they simply couldn't get beyond the crack in the door, and now they're effectively discontinued. That's the network effect that we were talking about, isn't it? Max says DJ, Algorithms DJ, is 2 updates away from being the best software there is. I agree. DJ has really come on in leaps and bounds. We're keeping an eye on that particular app. I agree completely with you. This is from Lou. In all the years I've been listening to Phil, I believe him when he says he doesn't get paid by any company to say anything to favour them. Well, I'm glad you believe me, Lou, but the internet has become a cesspit in the years we've been going. When we started, YouTube was brand new. Facebook had just started. Can you remember this? Can you even remember it? But can you imagine? No Instagram, well, Twitter didn't even exist, let alone get Xified, etc., etc., etc. The internet was a very different place. It was a nicer internet. Now it's a horrible place. I don't enjoy the internet. I don't know about you, but I know, because unfortunately I work in the industry, I know how everything's monetized. I know how you are being scanned and surveilled, and every click you make is being sold to someone, etc., etc., etc. And I hate it. So of course we don't do it. By the way, if you're interested in how we do it, go to djtips.co/funding. djtips.co/funding. We go into great detail there about how this business is funded, but TLDR is funded by you. So if you like it, buy the courses. Thank you, Lou. Chad says, I'm coming from Pioneer to Rain. I still have the Pioneer as a backup. The Rain has more features that I need over the Pioneer brand. Exactly. Vote with your feet. It's the only way anything will change. If you don't do that, then how's anyone ever going to know? So good luck with your new gear. This is from Harmonic Boom on Twitch. I do virtual prototyping and 3D rendering. Industries change, tools change, but the end goal rarely does. I'm loving this comment. Thank you very much. And so you go on to say, DJs are the same. Software changes, hardware changes, but the end goal is still providing great music for the crowd. Hard stop. You know, we often talk about DJ gear as being like a musical instrument. It's like a guitar, right? Guitars are great, but they haven't changed much over the years, and that's because what guitars do and the end result hasn't changed much. DJ gear's had its moments of change. It had its change from records to CDs, it had its change from analog to digital, but ultimately these are leaps forward and then big areas, big times when not much else changes, because the end result is the same. And so you don't need to worry too much about this as long as what you've got is doing the job. You need 4 things to DJ with: 2 music sources, something to mix those 2 sources together with, some headphones to listen to one of the sources that maybe the crowd isn't hearing at the moment, and some speakers so the crowd can hear what you want them to hear. That is it. Everything else is open and up to you. But if you've got those things, you can DJ. So don't ever think that the gear is the purpose of DJing. It's not. It's something to get past in order to get to the DJing. Right, okay, what else have we got? This is from Luis on YouTube. In technology and in industry standard, it's a specification that multiple vendors independently follow, so things interoperate. Has nothing to do with popular brands. That's really a good point to make there, Luis, that there is a difference between an industry standard, so a set of guidelines, as you say, so everyone's stuff can work together, like MIDI. MIDI would be a good one, right, for plugging your production gear into other production gear from other brands. Interoperability is a form of industry standard, but also the kind of industry standard we're talking about is the Microsoft Word, the DocX, the XLSX files that people expect, or the best version I can come up with is basically Adobe Photoshop, right? This is the kind of industry standard we're talking about. Network effect, it's the gear you find everywhere. It's the gear that it's probably worth learning if you want to do what most other people do in that industry. It's a fact. I don't make the rules. I just help DJs to get past all this and do what they want to do, which is play great music to people who want to hear it, right? So we need to deal with this to move on. And without the shared language to deal with this, we can't do it. This is from Jay Dizzle on Facebook. Hi Phil, I've just got here. I'm a DJ Pro user. I've got super excited about interoperability, about one library. This is the new format, funnily enough, talking about this, that these guys, AlphaTheta, have come up with Tractor and with Algorithms DJ, which is a way of using this gear, at least their standalone gear, such as the CDJ 3000 here or the XDJ AX I've got over here, using this gear with libraries, with music playlists that you've exported from other people's software. So now Tractor and Algorithms DJ can export and play on this gear. By the way, Virtual DJ, they hacked that years ago. That's Virtual DJ for you. But thank you very much for that, Jay Dizzle. You're enjoying that. However, you say it is still super unreliable at the moment because the sync button doesn't really work. The beat grids are wrong, and there is a known issue there with beat grids being wrong, which is one of the things that we said is going to be a challenge for this new format. It's all to do with MP3 encoding and decoding and so on. We wrote about it on our One Library stuff over on the website. So go and find the 5 things that you need to know about One Library post on digitaldjtips.com, where we go into detail about that. And finally then, let's grab one more comment. This one is from The Ruckus. The bottom line is, even though we get excited when something new comes out, DJs notoriously resist change. As I always say, The Ruckus, DJs are conservative with a small c. You're completely right. It's why Pioneer DJ and AlphaTheta is still dominant. Right, we're out of here. Thank you so much for joining us today. I hope you found some value in this, and thank you very much to the community for being grown adults and being so positive in the comments there and raising some good points that I hadn't raised or even thought of in a couple of cases. So again, thank you very much, everyone. I'm going to say to you now, as I always do, get good, get out there, make the moments, people. And I'll see you again on another Tuesday live lesson very soon. Until next time, bye-bye for now.